Our first day in Monrovia proper, we just from the guest house where we spent the night, and from here we're going to see Dr. Leby, who is our going to be our potential partner in the proposals we're going to write. And we're also going to go into Monrovia because we need some liquidity. And from there we'll come and do a proper planning for tomorrow's event. Hi, good evening. Today actually is our first day of working in Monrovia. Myself and Eugene, we went in town to get some logistics, but before going there, we went to Dr. Leby's place. As I said earlier on this morning, we went there. He's our focal point. He's our colleague in Liberia. And we discussed briefly, and we booked an appointment to meet another actor, an environmental actor in Liberia. Unfortunately, when we arrived at Dr. Leby's place, the man we were supposed to meet was not there, but we had a very important discussion with Dr. Leby, who is a conservation biologist, environmental biologist par excellence, you know, and someone on whom we can rely on really in this project, in this initiative. We went through some discussion related to what we want to do, to what our area, a possible area of intervention in Liberia. He suggested, rather, two areas of intervention, possible intervention. That is Goldstown and Sembehon. Although, to some extent, downtown somewhere in the heart of Liberia, with degraded areas was also considered. But for now, for our purpose now, we decided, myself and Eugene, to visit Goldstown tomorrow. And in fact, tonight, this evening, we're going to meet somebody, Mr. Joe Flomo, who, together with Dr. Leby and other colleagues of theirs, carried out this study. We don't want to depend only on existing literature. Yes, these are existing literature of studies that was carried out in the project area. What we want to do now is to go on the ground and try to confirm what is in this study. Yes, based on that, based on what we're going to observe, we'll come back and discuss further with Dr. Leby and see possible areas of intervention. This is the forest area. This here too is a forest area in the east. This with the Sierra Leonean boundary, that is to the border with Côte d'Ivoire, and here is the Nimba region. As you can see, this area is mostly made up of degraded landscape, degraded ecosystem. So we have chosen for our field study to go to Goldstown here tomorrow, together with Mr. Joe, who was one of those who made research, together with Mr. Dr. Leby.
Hi, my name is Joe N. Flomo. I work for the Environmental Foundation for Africa as agroforestry officer, but now seconded to IUC and Liberia program.
Okay. And can you please tell me a bit about that study you carried out?
And it was intended to collect some data about the livelihood activities of the people, even how do they manage the forest, and then the leadership structure, the local leadership structure of the communities. And it was intended to get that data and see whether a parasite can be established so as to work along with the communities to see how best they can manage their natural resources, particularly in TFPs on which their livelihood depends. That's how come we came out with that study, and we were able to produce that document that it came across. Sometimes people sit and make decisions for communities without really knowing their plight before you can get full information about a community. It does not only require just going there 1 day or 2 days or so. There's some information that you will continue to dig out, the longer you stay in the community, the more information will leak out. So we were not able to get information on the total acres. Some of the forest area is also being covered by rubber, because that's the major source of income they have there. And we were told that some of the rubbers are growing so old, and that's the very one that they cut to bring coal and replace. So it could be around 25, 30, 35 hectares, something like that, or more. Because I don't have the exact figure, but it's fairly large.
Can you please elaborate a bit on the possibility or the prospect for civil society organizations, NGOs to intervene, in some of those areas?
Give you the location of the community, give you the background of the community, even the population, leadership structure, whichever area you want to go into when it comes to the issue of intervention. That document can give you some idea.
He's supposed to go to Girlstown, which, according to the document I read, is somewhere 45 minutes, drive from Monrovia. Can you please explain a bit about the problems, possible or potential problems one may encounter in that community?
Initially, when we went to the community, it was during the time of the wet season, and one of the problems that we encountered was the road. Second problem is there are people who are involved in this coal burning, charcoal burning, and they go into the forest. Sometimes they harvest some trees from the forest to make coal.
In Girlstown, how willing, how open they are to receive someone, a civil society organization, NGO, who really would like to really help them.
Town chief, who heads the town, is a young guy, and he's on top of information and is always willing to receive guests.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm the Executive Director of Society for Environmental Conservation.
And what are the activities your organization is involved in?
Actually, we mainly work around the proposed protected area in Liberia. And what we do is to make sure that we raise the values of the biodiversity to the inhabitants that live around the proposed and protected area of the country. And not that alone, we also make sure that while conserving biodiversity, we create a source of alternative livelihood for the people, so that they can be able to know the intrinsic value, the intrinsic value of the land.
Or what could be the level of involvement of FDA, in such a project?
Initially, there is a source of misunderstanding between the authority and the community in terms of the natural resources management. That is to say, they have a notion, because the content was not clear to the community, because they have it at the point of their mind that FDA is coming to rob them with their resources for that time. And that is the bone of content for over the years for that time. But one thing we are achieved so far now is letting the community to know that this forest is not for the authority alone, it's for you, the nation, and the authority. We use a method that will enable the community, that is the affected community, to manage the project that will be given to them.
And when we talk about forest management, is there any possibility to include ecotourism component?
People, especially the community, they have this forest. They know that important, for the point that the benefits are not coming to them. They know what the benefit from the forest. Understand? But in our one case, we just have the forest, nobody going there to see anything, community are not making money. I can remember when I went to Ghana, I went to market sanctuary, we pay $50 each person. Why the money goes? It went to the community, and the community able to have something to do with it. That's the point. We are thinking something in that direction. We're still looking for donor who can sponsor so that we can be able to work with this two ministries in
It is really interesting, very, very interesting. And I think we'll continue the dialogue.
Yeah.
Even tomorrow, are you here tomorrow? We'll continue dialogue, exchange of notes,
Yeah.
you know, for possible synergy, intervention, along the line.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.